the Clyde Broadcast Podcast, bringing to you inspiring broadcast stories and the latest in broadcast technology.
I'm EDK with a very special guest, Nollywood royalty in the building. Make some noise for Ibrahim Suleiman with us.
I'm making my own noise by myself. Yeah.
Actually, I had another intro, but I was going to say, we have an architect in the studio.
This is true.
But more famously, a celebrated Nollywood actor. I mean, the interesting thing is you still practice.
I do.
You still practice architecture.
I do.
What's that like, combining that with a life on set?
So one of the best things about it is the fact that as an architect, I don't do site work. I haven't been on a site since 2017.
Oh, okay.
But my partners, so we run a firm called Deep Space.
Okay.
So myself and 3 other people went to school together. So we run it together. So, one of us is outside the country. I'm in Lagos. The other 2 guys are in Abuja.
Yes.
So they are the ones who do most of the site work and, all of that. So I just do design. So I can do that.
I'm not going to lie. You kind of ruined another thing I was going to say. I was going to say, this man, how do you move from the site to the set?
I see what you're doing. My bad. I'm sorry. But
listen, I want to know where the acting bug began. Was it while you were doing designs in ABU Zaria, or when did that happen for you?
I see you did your research. Moving on.
Thank you.
So I always wanted to be a screenwriter and a movie director. It's still what I want to do. But so when I started talking to people who were in that space, I met Xavier Gorje. He's one of the biggest writers of Nigerian film and television today. So I met X in 2013 or 2014, and I told him that, look, I want to be a writer. He was like, well, send me stuff that you've done. And I sent him a couple of short stories and, a mini-series that I was working on. And he really liked it. He was like, bro, this is not bad. And then he introduced me to a couple of his other friends, Ifeanyi Chidi Barbara, and then they now took me to their mentor, Victor Sanchez Agawa. Yeah, I mean, everyone, look, the man is a ledge. So, I attended a few of his workshops, story workshops and everything. And I had a great time. I learned a lot. But then one day someone walks up to me and says, I know that you want to spend, your future behind the camera, but I think you do amazing in front of a camera. I'm like, no, thank you. Because, because at the time I was working as a TV presenter as well.
Yes.
But I didn't think that acting was for me because I just felt like you're just not what I wanted to do. And I still don't think I have the required vanity, which is weird to say. But it's just the honest, whatever. I grew up being told that, because I have 2 siblings, there's my sister and then my brother. And in my family, Nami ugly pass. You understand? So I grew up being told, that you use wash belay because I'm the oldest. Look at your beautiful sister. Look at your fine brother. Oh my gosh, why are you so ugly? So I didn't grow up with that required level of vanity that, a lot of the time people feel like, actors require.
Yes.
So I just didn't want that pressure. So I was like, nah, man, I'll just stay behind the camera. Anyway, long story short, 2017, I went on a set to check out stuff that some of my friends had written that was being made. And somehow they just conned me they said they wanted to do a camera test,
Wow.
And so they were like, bro, just help us read this thing. Just stand here. Let's so that we can just get the calibrations because it was a new. I was like, oh, sure. So I was reading it and then they were recording it, and I didn't know it was an audition tape.
Wow.
I sent it to Channel, and then Channel was like, oh, we like him. And then they offered me money. And anybody say no to money?
Nah, nobody.
And I'm like, really? You guys are going to pay me for this? Yeah, sure. Okay, sure. Yeah. Let's do it. I had no idea. So, but the first ever scene that I ever shot as an actor was on Tinsel in 2017. And I'd never done anything as an actor. And, it's been, 6 years now?
Yes.
And I've appeared in quite a broad spectrum of very interesting things. And I'm having a good time.
And I was going to mention that at some point during the conversation, is like, people know you're ubiquitous. Like, I don't think you walk through the hall. I'm sure you've taken several selfies with several people today.
No, they make me look like, say, my friend said I'm a D-list actor. Please leave me in peace.
You're A-list. I know you say you have the required vanity for an actor, but I mean, it is what it is. Your work really speaks for itself.
Thank you.
The thing I was going to say is, it definitely feels like you've been around for a longer time.
So, and I know why, or at least I have an idea why. It is because, I started off
TV.
Yeah, but even that year, okay. So when I was in ABU, I joined the dance team called The Exhibits, which now, at some point, I now didn't. Basically, I gave my life to Christ.
Okay.
And I was like, you know what, performing is not for me. I quit. I said I wasn't doing anymore. Then I joined the fellowship called YWAP, Youth with a Purpose.
I know YWAP.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. You do.
My pastor's a YWAP.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Mado.
Dan Yusuf, might know him.
That's my brother.
Yeah, that's my pastor.
Your family. Yeah, Eva. Oh my gosh. Okay, great. Yeah. So, your family then.
We'll do a video for them as well.
Yes, let's. Yeah. So, while I was in YWAP, they had a dance department, and so I just, for the fun of it, I just joined them, helped choreograph a few things, just for the fun of it. And then one thing led to another, and a few months after I joined, I was made the leader of the team. So that's how I got the nickname Captain Quest, because it was called Soul Quest.
Yeah.
And so we went for this competition in 2008 called Malta Guinness Street Dance. We won it, and then we won the Pan-African version. So we represented Nigeria and Africa in the World Championships. All of that happened. So that's how I got into television.
Yeah.
Because I now started to do ads for brands, MTN, Malta Guinness, GT Bank. I did it. A lot of the ads that you might have seen from 2009 to about 2013 that had dance content, I choreographed most of them. So that's basically how I got, into this space. That's why for a lot of people, it feels like I've been around for so long. It's because I did a lot of dance-related TV content for years before I got into, work as an actor.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been there.
That's amazing. So in some way, people recognize you.
Yes,
a lot.
Yes,
so
a lot.
Now let's get into how you've done Nollywood for 6 years actively. But how does a rookie build a career in Nollywood? I know you sort of you were tricked into it.
That's the exact expression. Yes,
quite effectively. But how does one build a career in Nollywood today?
Okay, so because I have spent time, working with people who started off basically at the same time that I did.
Yes.
And for those other people, they did it because it was something they really wanted. You have to really want it, to be honest. You have to really want to do this thing called film and television in Nigeria, because it's hard. Like almost everything else in Nigeria, it is hard. The conditions are insane. Power is an issue. There's noise pollution. There's traffic, there's stress, there isn't enough funding, and because of the lack of funding, you have to try and make a feature-length film in like a week. So you're filming like 15 to 20 scenes a day. It's ridiculous. I'm wearing sunglasses indoors, not because I'm cool like that, but because I never sleep. Do you understand?
Oh dear.
So there's a level of intentionality that you must have. You must be resilient. You have to just keep coming back every time you feel like you should quit. Then there's also nobody's going to offer you training.
Yeah,
you understand. And most of us cannot actually afford the proper training. You can't. Most of us can't afford to travel out to train. So you have to train. You have to learn by doing. So you will take on a lot of projects that would pay you next to nothing, but then the good thing about it is that the more hours you spend doing something, the better you get at it. So the better you get, as long as you have home training, and you're not just doing anyhow, more people would want to work with you a second time, then a third time, and then before you know it, there are producers and directors that always want to work with you. So that is, for me, that's probably the major reason why I always seem to be at work, because I've become friends with almost every director or producer that I've worked with, because you show up with the right attitude, you are excellent at your work, and you treat people like human beings, regardless of if they're your castmates, the director, the producers, or the crew. As long as you're working with these people, you just treat them the way you want to be treated at all times, and everybody will want to work with you again and again and again. So, and that's how you build it up.
That is brilliant. Now, one of the things interesting about Africast is it brings a variety of professionals, media guys, film and TV guys, radio guys, and you're an actor, you do all these movies and then you get into people's homes, and one of the things that people who consume don't really care. Is it on this streaming platform? Can I go to the cinema to watch it? They just get the end product, end point. But let's discuss distribution, from your perspective as an actor. When you go in there, what are your hopes, what are your thoughts? Because you want to do behind the scenes work at some point, so you obviously be more concerned with that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I have produced a few things already. Production is hard. As I said earlier, filmmaking is crazy. Yeah. But then you spend every last dime that you have, which is not a lot. But you gather it, then you tax your best friends and your spouse and, people that owe you favors. You get everybody on board. You have this really great story you want to tell.
Yes.
You do it, you do your pre-production, you do principal photography, you go into post-production. You're bleeding cash every single step of the way. And then now you're done. You have this beautiful child that has taken you months or sometimes years to put, to birth. And then you now need to show it to the rest of the world. You can't do it on your own because you don't have the numbers, you don't have you don't have the eyeballs, right? So you go to the distributors, you go to the platforms, and then that's where a lot of films go to die. because you do not have, you don't have a seat at the table, you don't have a foot in the door. It's tough because a lot of these distributors and platforms are more interested in the bigger names, the more established film houses, the more established production companies. So you who are an independent filmmaker have to now you have to, and for every step up the ladder you go, you're giving a piece of whatever it is that film will bring home away. Yeah. So let's say you need to go through 3 or 4 people to get to the people that you really need to get to. You're losing percentages. So by the time you finally get the film on the platform, everybody's like, oh my God, Ibro's film is on Netflix. We gonna get paid. Ibro is there just thinking, well, at least I didn't lose everything.
10%, you lose 20%.
Just giving 4 here, 12 here, 11 here, 20 here, and and then all the people you made it that put money together to make it with
investors.
Those are investors, so you have to make sure that you keep your word, and then you make sure that they're happy as well. So shortening the distance between the independent filmmakers and the distributing platforms is the best thing that can happen to us at this stage. If we can have direct conversations, it would make life a whole lot easier for a lot of filmmakers.
Do you know how that can happen?
As with most things in this country, we need to get rid of the cabal. Sorry, I'm just joking.
That's fine.
But basically, we just need to reduce the number of middlemen. Okay. Because a lot of the time, we just have sharks in suits who are just, trying to make a buck off people who do not, have a seat at the table or a foot in the door. So I feel like there is because I'm still learning the process, as a film, as a producer that's trying to sell my content, I cannot, specifically say that, this is the best way to get it done. But what I will say is the fewer middlemen we have, the easier, the faster the conversations will go and the easier it will be for everybody involved. And it would encourage, because a lot of young filmmakers or first time or new filmmakers just have this thing that, let me just get it done, and then anybody that takes it, I'll just give it to them for whatever, at least let people see it.
Yeah.
And while I understand that, it's unfair, So that's where you come in.
Okay.
You and yours.
Okay.
Because the conversation's already happening. We just need to be factored into the conversation.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that's basically it.
I can't let you go without talking about something that we both share a big interest in, podcasting.
Yes.
You have an actual podcast which you co-host with your wife, Linda Ibrahim Suleiman. It's called Due Parenting. Yo, man. First of all, that part is great.
Brother, thank you.
I know people have said this to you, and we see you guys have fantastic chemistry in real life, on screen, and on audio.
Thank you. So that's one of the things we're worried about. We're worried that it would not translate to the audio listeners. Because, you know, it's easier to see and feel the chemistry when you see it.
Yes.
But then we're worried that, okay, would the audio listeners actually get the vibe? Because we're always looking for each other. We're always looking for trouble.
Yeah.
You know, we're always giving each other funny looks and just being silly.
Can we see that on audio? Yeah.
But thankfully, as you said,
it translates.
It translates. And it was one of the biggest reasons for relief that I felt when, you know, we put out the first season, and then we finished recording the second season. So I think in December we'll put that out, and then we'll record the third season. So what we'll start doing is, because it took us 2 years, so season 1 and 2.
Wow.
Yeah, because there was just so much work. There was just a lot going on. Her schedule was crazy. Mine was insane.
Yes.
But now we're more intentional about it. So we're going to start doing every quarter.
Great.
So we'll just take all the weekends in every 4th month. So we shoot Saturday, Sunday, and just get our friends on.
Fantastic. I'm a big fan of the pod.
Thank you, bro.
Happy you're doing it.
Are you married?
Not yet.
I was going to ask if you have kids, but, you know.
No, I do. I'm getting
that you're aware of.
I am very aware I don't have kids.
I'm messing with you.
Done the checks.
So one of the things one of my pastors, he's a great guy, funny, very fun person.
Yeah.
And he's such an encourager. So every time, you know, he gathers us younger men and we're talking about life and stuff, he's like, so you now, a father, you have a son, you have 2 daughters, you have and so they were like, he says, but we need to add this caveat. These are the children that you're aware of. We almost died, man. And so every time I get an opportunity to just say that, because the reaction of him is like, no, I beg you, wait, I'll check. But having my son is definitely the biggest achievement of my life.
Really?
Like he's everything. I love that little guy. He loves his mother more than he loves me, but I can understand why she's awesome. But, so that's great. Thanks for having me, bro.
Thank you for coming, Ibrahim Suleiman. I'm going to start with the one you don't put out a lot: architect, podcaster, and celebrated Nollywood actor. For coming to the 2023 podcast.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Great.